Boom. Back into part 2. Let's do it. I've got this thing where I start and stop recording so I don't have to cut them and render them later. It's a little lazy on my part, but it means that videos actually get to YouTube. Or at least have a better probability of getting into YouTube. Alright. So we're just sort of mocking this up for later because I don't think this is going to be the final version. So once you finish the legs, I'm going to move on to something else a little later. It's probably going to be some environmental stuff or something weird like the Wiggly Tuff. So we'll see. We'll see. So I think the next thing to do was the arms. And I'm going to construct that in 2 parts. I'll get some tubes going here. I'm just going to hold shift and right click to get a cylinder. And I'll press T once again to get the radius smaller. I'm going to get the subdivision axes lower. Probably 6 will do us. Now let's keep it at 8. Let's keep it at 8. Alright. From here, we're just going to edit it as usual. Delete the history. Makes things very simple to work with. I'm going to hold J while I rotate to snap it to 15-degree intervals, which is something you can edit. Do the same thing here. In the reference image, they are sort of stuck forward and then perpendicular to the right. And it doesn't show a 6th group or a 3rd group of legs, so we're only going to do the 2. And then we'll get some wings. And I think after that we'll start doing some materials and some emission for this butt. So quite a bit of work to do. Let's see how we do. I'm going to start with this being perpendicular to the body, and we can position it later. That'll just make modeling a whole lot easier. Set our pivot point over here. Again, that's D and then V. D for pivot point edit mode, and V to snap to vertices. Let's see, so that's at that bottom anchor vertice now. Okay, now the one thing I need to model in here is an elbow, essentially. So put in edge mode, multi-cut, holding shift and control. Shift constrains it to various points on an edge, and then shift, undo that. Shift is a edge loop, so by holding both of them, you can constrain it to various intervals, percentages of the available area. Once you have a smaller area, it does another percentage of that smaller group. So I'll use that to our advantage to get some regular spacing here. And I think we're going to give it a default angle here. I'll just increase that a bit. What I'm doing here is pressing B to put it into soft select, and then holding B and then dragging with left click to adjust the radius. And the heat map you're seeing is sort of a visual indicator of how effective these joints will be by my actions. So I want them to be nearly identical, but not quite. That's fine. Turn off soft select. I think for this, I'm going to get this group, go like that. And we'll just rotate until it seems about right. Okie dokie. Yeah, that seems fine. Okay. So let's do a little bit of edge sliding just to get it closer. Now you could pretty easily just use the move tool for this, but sliding is a bit context sensitive. So when it's not ideal circumstances, you can use sliding to sort of get it closer and then fudge it from there. What else do we need to do? We need to round this end so that it's able to join with the foot guy later. One thing I'd like to do is to extrude this vertex, get the length a lot lower, and then squish right up in here and use this edge loop to round it out. Just gives us a little bit more density of information on the model. So should be good to go. And then we're going to stuff this arm into the mesh like that. I think for the final model, we're going to add another edge loop in here and try our best to actually connect it in. We'll see how that goes, but there's not a lot of supporting geometry right now. If we want to do it right, I think we'd need to have 2 more lines here and here, as well as 2 more lines on the interior here, and that's going to make it really hard to get a smooth abdomen. So may not happen, but we'll try. I think let's get some scales. That seems about right for these guys. I might need to lengthen this for the higher ones, but we'll stick with this one for now. And I don't want this to be too strong. I want it to be more like that. And all this is going to do is when we put rigging into it, if we choose to, we're going to be using something that calculates the movement for 3 joints here. And having a bend here gives it some more information about how to do that. So, I'm just going to duplicate this. Boop. I think I need to do a modify freeze transformations. And we'll just cheat, find out that the x-axis is the one we want to alter. And we'll do another freezing operation. We'll be good to go. So now we've got them here and here. You know, I could mirror it. You want to try that for this one? Let's do it. So we're going to put it up here, and we'll position it kind of like that. And then if we go to Mesh, Mirror, we'll do it in world space along the x-axis. Don't want to combine with the original. And sure enough, it works. Just a different way of doing it. Got some more settings to work with, and it's a tool instead of just a function that of your other stuff. All about how you want to go about it. That's kind of the beauty of Maya, and also its downfall. It's just, you can do things in any number of ways, and it's more than happy to let you fight it until it works the way you want it to. So I'm going to do some face selections up here. I'm going to turn off soft select for now. I'm going to hold down tab, and that's going to let me draw my selection. If I was closer, that would have worked better, but that's fine. I'll use soft select to kind of gradiently select these different faces. And I'll use component view to get me a straighter line here. Not perfect, but should work a treat. And we'll just extend it out a little bit. And it's a little too much. We'll go back maybe to here. Perfect. I like that. Okay, delete this. And we'll do the mirror trick this time, just to get some practice with it. The only reason I didn't go into the option box there is because I already had the settings I wanted dialed in. After you're done doing these things all in a row, you'll probably want to go back in and reset your settings. Go to edit, reset settings on the tool. Typically when you're mirroring something, you are doing a single mesh, and then say for a human, you're creating half the human, and then mirroring it across along the center line, and then allowing it to merge border vertices. And so when I'm doing that kind of modeling, I will use mirroring more often. But things like this, I usually just scale. And then if you're doing the silly things like me, where you're scaling and editing these values a bunch, always make sure you modify freeze transformations. And you get a nice clean starting point for whatever you're doing next time. Okay, so one thing we're gonna have to do is go to modify, and then center the pivot point. Go into well, let's just do it from here. One thing I didn't think about, put this guy at the end here, is that when you modify and freeze your transformations, you remove all information about translation, rotations and translations and stuff. So one thing you may want to do is bring it back to 0. Hello there. Delete history. Now, that's not great. Not quite sure what's going on there. When you don't know what's happening, go to tool settings, reset your tool, and then put it into the space that you want, and try again. Here's hoping. Nope. Okay. So we'll delete that. We'll modify freeze transformations again. Delete the history. Oh. Is that why? Is that why? Aha! So it was nested in a whole slew of Garbo. And now I need to freeze the transformations once it's outside of that space and delete this entire history. It's going to complain at me. Hopefully we didn't. That's fine. That's fine. We'll just do it again. It'll be fine. Okay, so hopefully we can just do this now. Yes. So when it's in a group like that, sometimes it's going to have a bunch of external things affecting its translations and scales, and cleaning it out of that group structure and freezing those transformations separates it from all those inputs, which is good. We like that. Troubleshooting is definitely a main thing you'll be doing in Maya. Can I modify alpha gain in 2 pictures at the same time? Let's put the kibosh on this real quick and jump into the hypershader. Let's give the body, I think I already gave it its first, I never actually equipped that. Okay, so now we've got that on there. We're gonna go ahead and graph the network. And let's see here. So I want to, how do I want to do this? I think I'm gonna get a texture. I'll get 2 textures. A 2D texture, get a bowl, checkerboard here, and a mountain. And I think we're just gonna go ahead and do this for, you know what? Let's do it this way. So I want a way to figure out if this is gonna work or not. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so alpha gain, 2 pictures at the same time. Alpha gain, alpha gain, alpha gain. So that'll be effects, color balance, alpha gain. Okay. So one thing you can do is to go into a Maya utility and get a constant, I think, a math constant. Color math, color constant? No. Let's search for a constant. Float constant, here we go. Now with any luck, this will work first try and you'll look super smart, but don't know what you're doing. Well, so when you said modify alpha gain in 2 pictures, what were you getting at? Because when I hear modify 2 things at the same time, this is what I'm thinking of. Because if you're talking about Photoshop or something, then we need to switch applications entirely and using an image plane. Oh. Huh. Okay. Okay. Let's get rid of these guys. No, it's okay. So let's see. I need a file. Okay. So I get 2D texture file. So I'm assuming that on an image plane. Let's see, I haven't done an image plane in a while. So we'll get a plane. Let's scale it up. And then, oh boy. So I think what's going to happen here, I'm going to create a new material. We're just going to go with a Lambert on this guy. And on that Lambert, for the color, we want a file to be driving its color. On this file, let's just get all the things there. Let's see, what kind of file do we want to do? What is... Huh. This doesn't seem right. I mean, the tool that's next to the outliner. Okay, outliner. Outliner. Oh, God. Outliner. Over here. Okay. Oh, that's right. Image plane. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's put a thing on that. We'll select our plane, go to image plane, import image. Okay. Let's go to digital content. Can't think of where I have any images right now. How about exercises? Oh boy. I just need an image. Let's go with BB, brand. Let's just go with, I guess my face, huh? There we go. Okay, so this is that thing where if you do it wrong in the perspective mode, this shows up all the time. So let's undo that, and we'll go to the front view, and we'll do that. So the image plane is one of the more picky things in Maya. Not gonna lie, but brand, logo, there we go. Okay, so now once we go to perspective mode, we can get this like that. And changing all these values is kind of weird, but let's see, alpha gain. Okay. Now, you want to alpha gain two pictures at the same time, so I'm imagining you've got like this sort of situation going on, right? Where you've got two image planes. We'll just grab a second version of that. BB. Let's grab something different. Maybe. How about asset? We'll go in. Okay, we're grabbing the same thing, I think. My goodness. Fine. Just grab the same thing again. And so you're trying to do like a modeling with a human side view and human front view and stuff like that. This just looks like a nightmare, but you know. Anyway, so you want to grab both of these and change the alpha gain at the same time. Well, one way is just to do it individually, obviously. Right? But that's not what it sounds like you want to do. So the only way I know how to do that is to go into the outliner, or the hyper shader, which is this little ball up here. And that brings up this whole window. Now, can't guarantee I'm going to be able to find what we're doing here. This is a little tricky. Okay. So we'll grab both of these guys, graph the network. I'll add this in. So I've gone to camera, because it's a projection along the camera, and grabbed both of my image planes. So I've got plane shape 1 and plane shape 2. And we're just going to look for the alpha gain. Hopefully it's in here somewhere. All right, so we're going to have to right-click and show all attributes. I know. It's annoying. I mean, the easiest thing to do is just to set the number manually on both, since it's only 2 of them. But here we are. So here's our alpha gain. Let's go back to our textures, our utilities, and grab a float constant. We're just going to grab it to alpha plane and to alpha plane. Now, hopefully, we'll see this live. Change this to 0.5. Now this one constant is driving everything. So if you ever want to do it again, let's say you just open this up using Lambert, and you want to change it, you go to Utilities, and graph this guy. You can just grab it and edit the value. There are things you can do with expressions. That's fair. Let's see. There's a thing you can do with expressions, but that's fine. Don't worry about it. You just grabbed a question that was slightly annoying and difficult because I hate image planes. Everything else about it was fine. I like that you're asking questions. And also you're getting me to think, which is good. So please don't stop asking questions too much. How would I do this? Modify. Convert asset. Edit attribute. No. Well, there's always set-driven keys. Oh, crap. Okay. Huh. That's not showing up in here. Oh, interesting. Oh, it's a... Oh, it's an attribute of the shape. Oh, okay. Interesting. So let's go to our thing here, grab that, select that, load driven. And then I think if you wanted to, we could go back to the image plane 2 here in our channel box, modify, add an attribute, gain control. Let's see, we want a float value, scalar, minimum of 0, maximum of 1. Okay, so now that's here. We can load a driver. This is way overkill, by the way, but it is something you can do. So when that's at... Let's just go ahead and break connections here. When this is at 0 and that's at 0, we key it. When this is at 1 and this is at 1, we'll key it. So now, theoretically, unless I messed it up somehow. Oh boy. That's exactly how you learn. Let's see. Break connections. Let's try this again. Break connections. So this is image plane 2, image shape plane 2, load driver, gain control. Now, oh, that's what happened. I created that wrong. Gosh darn it. Delete. Okay, try that again. Instead of being a scalar value, we want float. Minimum is 0, maximum is 1. I'm not sure why that didn't work. Yeah, that really should have worked, actually. It's supposed to be a float value. And yet, here we are. What is going on with that? Edit attribute, gain control, minimum, maximum. That's real strange. I haven't had this issue before in a while. Gain control, keyable, float. How about this? 0.0 and 1.0 with a default of 0.0. Okay, well, that's cool. Oh. Alright, well, this is poor design anyway, so we're going to delete that. I'm going to take both these and group them together with any luck. No, we're not going to... There we go. Image, plane, control group. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and add it to this anyway. Strange. Okay, so now our control group here has the control there. We'll load that as the driver. Gain control. All right, so gain control is going to be at 1. I'm going to go on to image plane shape 2. Set gain to 1 as well. And we'll key it. And we'll set this to 0. And we'll head back to the group. Set that to 0. Go back to the plane 2. Set that down to 0. And then key it. So now when we go up here, we can at least toggle it, and if you put in a value, it'll update to that. Now we load this as driven, although we need the shape more specifically. So we'll go over here, grab its shape, select that, then we'll load driven. So now we have the shape, which has the alpha gain attribute. And let's see, we've got control. Head back into our channel box. Control is set to 0. We'll go to image plane 1. We'll break its connection. We'll set that to 0. And we'll give it a key. We'll set this to 1. Set this to 1. Key. And now when you have your group, you can set it to any gain control that you want. So that's the control structure I would use. Put them into a group that has an overlying structure to it. or associate a nerve circle that is like around these guys, and then have the controls on a separate object when you're driving multiple things. So it's not perfect, but the process is group them or find something to control it with, add an attribute, set that to the range that you want, usually 0 to 1, and then use an animation key, set driven key, set option box, grab the group, load the driver, grab the image plane, grab its actual shape, select that, load driven, select the attribute, go in, set the values to the correct things, and then key, rinse and repeat. Boom. That's the super quick version of that. Anyway, new question. I'm going to delete all this. Okay. Do you do your models from memory, or do you use some reference? I do both. So I'll often just kind of freeball it and make whatever suits my fancy out of memory, out of imagination. But I do also work from reference. And right now I'm working from reference. But I don't usually import it into Maya, which would probably make my life easier, but you gotta do a lot of stuff in 3D that's not by the book anyway, so it's fine. When I'm doing humans and I need it to be really, really accurate, I will, and I have the luxury of multiple resources, I will import them into that sort of setup that you saw me doing there. So I'll have a front and a side view, and I'll work from that, but otherwise, there's usually not perfect reference like that for most things, like bugs and guns and stuff. Guns are close. But, yeah. So yes. Can you show us any humans? Not really. That's something I'm going to be working on in the near future, because my character design is really, really poor, and my human modeling is really subpar right now. So you're going to see a lot of bad things coming out of this channel for a little while here, but I'll be rinsing my mouth out with some fun things like the bug here and some guns and some other cool things. More in my wheelhouse. Hi there, Blue Originals. Good to have you. How you doing? Just got done with a nice old tangent there. Alright, so we've extended this guy out a little bit. We're going to mirror him across. Yeah, it's definitely ant-like right now. It's going to be a firefly bug kind of thing. It's a little bit of a surreal thing, and I'm sorry I can't show you the reference I'm working from, but it's meant to be sort of an abstract firefly situation. Haven't quite get the wings down here yet, but that'll be happening in a moment. So we're just going to duplicate this guy. Yeah, I think it was Scale Z. Yeah, Scale X, I mean. Ooh. Oh, no, it's fine. Okay. Shove it in there. What brings you to our neck of the woods over here? If you have any questions, go ahead and fire them off, and I'll break into another tangent to answer them. Did you model something from a franchise like a character? Not really. Let me save this real quick before I irreparably do something silly. I'm intrigued by Maya. I'm a Blender guy. Gotcha. Yes, Maya is kind of a different beast, isn't it? I think with Blender, you've got a lot of kind of node-based modifiers that you add on, and in Maya, it's a history-based system that is difficult to describe. Let me see here. Open up a new file here real quick. Get some digital content. Here's... yeah, this'll do. I think this guy... oh, yep, here we go. So, this is a nightmare that I was creating for a while. Might come back to it, but Yeah. Is this the one that had Oh, heck yeah, it has the bend. Yes. All right, let's do some bending here. Woo! Clearly lots of work to do, but this is, I don't know if you guys know about them, but there's this channel called Drawfee on YouTube, and they sometimes draw horrific things, especially one of their main contributors, Julia Lepetite, who made this Wigglytuff drawing that I have attempted to recreate in 3 dimensions. And that's where this comes from. It's a lovely nightmare. The next steps are to fully rig it and then do the horribly human face on it and animate it. So that's a project that's on the back burner right now. But this is an example of something humanoid-ish that I have created. I forgot the jorts. How could I forget the jorts? That's why. They're not finished. Yep. So, there's one small example. Just take that off the screen now. Okay, back to the Firefly. Is there anything else that's worth showing? Let's see. Dailies. No. Not really. Okay. We're going to get back to this. Okay. Oh, and Blue, if you are interested in some of my other work, I'm going to link to my YouTube here. In chat, that is. And you can see it has pants, you are a madman. And some of the first playlists you see should include at least a couple thumbnails of past works that I've done. And then at the next break, which is in about 20 minutes, I'm going to have a demo reel of some of the other animations I've done that are a little more proud of. For now, I really want to get these hands done before we get moving on some other part. So we've got this kind of weird... Oh, look at that. I forgot the second B. Let me make sure that works. Okay. Cool. Hands. So this is going to be like a collection of sort of foxtail looking things. And I'm not sure how I want to do it the right way, but we're going to do it the wrong way to start with. So let's go ahead and do that. Because this will at least give me a sense of the shape that I want. Let's go with 8. Yeah, that seems good. Go down to about 0.5, go down to about 1. And we'll just start mucking around with this. So this is the general shape of the nubbins that are going to come off of it. Kind of. They're definitely going to be a lot longer. Kind of like that. The whole thing's going to be a lot smaller. And I want the ability to create more. More better. Alright, we're going to have to do this the annoying way. 0.5. 0.1. Yeah, that's fine. Okie dokie. So I want this to be close to that. And we'll grab all these guys and pull all those out. Now I can go into edge mode, add in some edge loops, and get something a little more reasonable going on here. Okay. Do I use ZBrush? And if I do, is it hard to use? No, because I don't own it yet. And it's different. It's really different. You sort of don't care about the edge flow in ZBrush. You care more about having a high poly count and doing sculpting things. And then later on, you go and you do something called retopologizing, which is when you care about the edge flow at that point, in order to make textures work a bit better. So it's not a process I'm familiar with yet. It is something I do plan on getting into. But if you do have an educational account with Autodesk, which all you need is basically a school email account. I think they prefer college level email accounts from accredited universities work best, but I think if you email them, they can work with you. Anyway, you can get an educational account and they will let you download basically their entire suite for free for 3 years. And in that, you can get something called Mudbox, which is their version of ZBrush. And it's not as good, but it is close. And that's what I'll be using later, once I get all the kinks worked out. I don't know about ZBrush, but I remember Blender having really good sculpt mode. Nice. Maya also does have a sculpt mode. Again, it requires a pretty high poly count. So if we get a... let's just delete this guy. We have a new... Let's just get this guy. So we'll create a new plane. There's our plane. Drag it over here. Increase the width, the height, and an absurd amount. Let's just do 50 by 50, and then we'll subdivide this. Not proxy, just actual subdivide. And we'll get 2 divisions on that. Cool. So now we've got a reasonable sculpting surface to start with here. Go in here, and I believe we just want the usual kind of this guy, and we'll press B and drag it down. And lo and behold, sculpting! Of course, the settings for the brush are a little bit crazy, so we're going to put that down to about 1. That's better. So if I was using a tablet right now, I could do some pretty reasonable sculpting. But we're going to be using the thing here. Kind of an awkward shape forming here, but that's kind of the point. And when you can hold shift to smooth out any creases that you've created for yourself because you're terrible at this. It's essentially the same thing as this, but with many brush types to choose from. Well, that is definitely an improvement that makes it closer to the ZBrush experience. I'm not super sure whether or not Maya has a selection of brushes. Stylus. That would probably be under its stamp section, and then you can import. Yeah, so like here, if I get this leaf vine thing, supposedly we'll get some texture in there. Yeah. So in translating from Blender to Maya, you would want to look for the stamp feature, which is closer to the Photoshop lingo. Yeah. And honestly, it's fairly similar to ZBrush in that regard. Of course, I'm obliterating all that detail with my smoothing option here. So maybe we'll just paint some on here and get some good grossness again. Gotta get your good grossness on. Whee! Another little detour here. Yeah, gotta fix this. Come on. There we go, that's a little better. Anyway, so now we have this obnoxiously large polygon, and you can do some cool things with that. But yeah, that's upsetting. Let's just go ahead and make that two-sided lighting. Now we can really see the underside and get kind of grossed out. It's so gross. Play-Doh for adults, absolutely. Okay, I will hide that for now, but yeah. So I'm going to go back to a top view and do another CV curve. And it looks like I want basically a straight line out, which is pretty simple. Okay. And maybe we'll straighten this out just a little bit more. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we're going to use this as the kind of guiding line visually for things, and then these guys will all come off of it like that. Now, I think these are going to be much flatter than they are now. So we'll go with something closer to that. This is going to be real weird to deal with here. We'll get that thinned out. Grab some vertices, push them over that way, rotate them just a little bit. One thing we can do is extrude this vertex again. And then just bring it over like that. What that lets us do is grab all these guys once again and sort of get a stronger angle on this. There we go. Oop. All right. Accidentally went down. Go to world space. And we'll just bring that guy right back up. And we'll just eyeball it. Not going to be the end of the world. This isn't mission critical. Okay. Grab the whole thing, inflate it just a little bit. Grab just these vertices. I'll send just these vertices. Inflate them a little bit more. Grab just this little guy. And we'll make that a little more pleasant. And we'll just grab this guy and pull him like this. Okay, so that's kind of doing it manually. And we'll have it come off there. Duplicate this. Just go ahead and rotate it. Okay, then we'll shrink it down after we set its pivot point to the base here. I'm going to put that pivot point just a little closer to the center and shrink the whole thing down like so. I don't want quite as much of this going on, so we'll put in just a little soft select. I said a little soft select, just the smallest amount. We'll take it down a smidge more. And let's do a little rotate, kind of like that. And we got something a little softer. That's helpful. Now I'm going to have these overlap a little bit for visual sake. Then we'll duplicate, rotate this down, shrink it down, and just play with this for a little while until we can really get it where we want it. Once again, shrink, and place. It seems fine for the one I'm working on right now. Okay. We'll grab this guy, duplicate, bring him here, rotate down like that. Do a nice little invertivert, object space. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll go like this. Freeze transformations. And then we'll do the twisty twist. Freeze transformations again. And finish off that rotation. And I want that going out a little bit. And a bit more like that. I think maybe we get it more like that, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take this whole thing, including I think the curve, but not the cone, and just group the whole thing. So we're going to call this... what are we going to call this? Feeler hand? That sounds awful, but alright. Group 01. And I think that cone actually does need to go in there. Yep, okay. No worries. Okay. So we'll grab all these guys. Modify freeze transformations. This group. I try to. I am not always successful. You've actually reminded me that I need to do that here. One nice thing that Maya has is up here, there's these little drawers you can open, and by default, it's a transform deal. Most people leave their objects. I'm guilty of it. Everyone's guilty of it, but I try hard to stay organized when I think about it. But this has a rename function here, which makes this a little bit less tedious. So we're going to go feeler, arm. I need to redo that, but arm. And if you just put an underscore, it does the numbering for you. It's not perfect. It starts at null instead of 0 and then goes straight to 1, which I guess is fine, but whatever. Then we'll do feeler, arm, starting at 3. Fine. We'll just do it that way. No. This is what I get for trying to be organized. Aw, thank you. Who was that? Heck yeah, Blue. Thank you for the follow. Hopefully we'll live up to that. Let's see here. I think for now I'm going to hide this curve, though. And all these guys are feeler, hand, component. That's too long. Bit. Oh, good. Thank you, Maya, for doing exactly what I thought you would do. And this time it starts at 1. One of Maya's little inconsistencies. It's good for a lot of things, but not everything. I do truly love this program, but I'm not sure how much of that is Stockholm Syndrome and experience versus actually enjoying myself with it. So proud of myself. I just started modeling big boy models. What do you constitute as a big boy model? Very curious. I think what I can do here is just fudge it and go like that. And no one will be the wiser, except that this point here truly needs some attention. Oh, that's sad. Okay. Modeling Sonic, I'm really good. Heck yeah, dude. Nice job. I think we'll go with these guys. And then we'll just get some of these vertices. Shove them over like that. Now, I'm well aware that I'm going to have to do this on all the rest of them as well, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to worry about it too much. So, now that we've got this whole shebang set up, duplicate it, and we're just going to give it a couple differences. First difference is going to be a simpler version of what I was doing over there, which is just to make this narrow. And then we'll grab this guy and we'll flip him over. I think it's the Z-axis on this one. Yeah, do a -1 on that. And this guy will give the same treatment. This guy, I think we're going to shrink a little bit, as well as this guy. That'll need to be moved in a smidgel, kind of like that. Rotate him out a little bit. Just kind of work with him until it makes sense. Cool. All right. Do another savey save because Maya's bound to crash at any moment here. Taking all our hard work with it. And now this is an instance where I am going to try and mirror. We'll see how that goes. We don't want to cut the geometry. We want it in world space. Negative, yes. Combine with original, no. Mirror. Cool. Great. These curves, they're donezo. Can I do it now? Is this a thing I can do? I'm trying to mirror groups, which is probably not going to go well. Yeah. Okay. Hearing you loud and clear, Maya. No fun for me today. Now it'll be a scale X. Okay. Now group 3, pull that in there. And we're not going to go too ham on this just because it is what it is. This is mostly a mock-up. Okay, we got group 1 and 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pick this up here. We'll name this number 4 for my sake. Okay. Or we won't. That's fine too. I'll call this number 3. Call this number 2. And then Maya. We can call this number 4 now, right? That's a thing we can do. There we go. There we go. Okay. Take a break. Can't wait for rig time. Want to see how it's done in the Republic of Maya. Oh boy. Well, I guess we'll just have to get to some basic rigging tonight then. Won't that be a treat for me? We'll just do a really simple one, quick and dirty. Now these arms are going to give me some problems later, so I'll probably move them forward before I rig it. It doesn't have to be tonight. Very kind of you. Very kind. Okay, so let's get some basic structures going here. I want this feeler arm to be in the same group as this arm here. So let's change this around. Okay, we'll call this number 2. So now these two match up. How about 3? Oh god. You know what? It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Group. Feeler. Let's call this O2. Oh, yeah. One of the kind of weirdnesses of Maya is that your cursor has a lot to do about what context Maya decides that you're in. So if you press enter here, it's an enter function for whatever you're doing in this screen. But if you place it over here and you press enter, it lets you start renaming something in there, you know? Something to keep in mind, because Maya is all about context sensitive things. Like if I press spacebar here and hold it, it does one thing. If I tap it, it brings me to here. If I press right mouse button, it gives me this, which is a context sensitive about the polygon model that I'm looking at there. If I right click over here, it just does whatever. If you right click with a shift button on nothing, it gives you this. If you right click and shift on an object selected, it gives you all of these tools. So just be aware. Maya is very context aware. And to cross Maya is to know the wrath of God. So be very careful. I forgot to freeze these transformations, and that's going to be a real bad time for me if I don't do it now. That one is fine-ish. Wait, what? Oh, for flip's sake. Really? Okay. Nothing broke. Nothing broke. It's fine. So I want 3 and 1. Group those together. Call it feeler group 01. We'll place it right above it. And yeah, naming really only matters once you start rigging things. And so I like to get ahead of the game sometimes. That's these guys. So this will be number 3. So 0 and 3. Cool. Feeler group 03. And hopefully this is 4. Good, good. Let the hate flow through you. Feeler group. Is this riveting? Is this good content, guys? Is this absolutely the best thing you've seen all night? Oh, God. All right. I'll be done in a second here. Top tier content. Thank you. Thank you. I live to serve. Okay. And then we'll call this, we'll just call it body mesh. Cool. Save. All right. So I want to make sure everything is all good to go. We're at a bit of a crossroads here, more or less, because it's almost time for me to start actually going and doing things. Let's see, we go right. Okay. Ooh. G. Let's just see where we're at here. Okay. And we'll just open these guys up so I can see them right away. Okay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking through at the channel box to make sure that everything is zeroed out or one for scales, and pressing G to use the freeze transformations on anything that I find out of square. Okay. Good, good. Okay. Excellente. Boom. So, save again. Spastic saver suddenly. You know, I'm not surprised you would ask me if I'm a fan of insects. I'm not really, but they are fascinating to model. They're really strong, like carapaces and exoskeletons make for really interesting joint structures that are very clear when you're up close to them. And there's a lot of like interesting little fiddly bits to do. Whereas in real life, I think they're horrendous, and I just try to stay away from them at all times. So, you know, real mixed bag on that one. Okay, I need to... Hopefully this isn't breaking things. That's the big concern. It's always a little hard to know when something's breaking. So let's see, let's grab a curve point. And grab this one. Hey, we didn't break that. Heck yes. Okay. A little bit. I remember the giant bugs in Starship Trooper. But it's something I've like seen at a friend's house halfway through twice. But I do remember the giant bugs. Let's see here. So I think we're just going to take these two groups here, and then we'll go into component mode with our rotate. I said, go into component mode with rotate. Is that not going to work? I always forget what I have to do. It's not worth figuring out. Okay, go to world view, and then we'll snap to 25-degree angles, not the arm. God. Oh, this is the part I forgot about. Okay, tell you what, we're just gonna, for every group, we're going to center the pivot. And then we're gonna go through each of those and set the pivot point back to here. Good. Go up to there. Good. There we go. We could try to model one of those. Oh yeah. I think I'm getting close to my inflection point of wanting to do bugs. I think I'm going to be taking a break after this. But my Firefly source is from a hand-illustrated file that I'm working from. So it's this sort of abstract notion of a firefly more than an accurate firefly. Which is partly why we have these creased surfaces back here, because it's meant to be more of a kind of a rock or an amber glowing situation rather than a an organic thing. Yeah. Good question. Good question. What am I doing? Oh, yes. Sorry. Sure, that was awful. He's super excited now. Hey. Okay. I think we're ready to do some quick wings. So it could have a pistol? Absolutely, it could have a pistol. Let's see what hope you're okay with a really awful pistol. Get ourselves a Taurus. Butt fire. Yeah, this will be the one thing I make that's off script. Hopefully it won't take too long. About like that. About like that. It's pretty decent. Pretty decent. Get ourselves a crummy little trigger over here. Are the keyboard shortcuts to scaling and rotating? Yes, absolutely. So there are 4 main shortcuts you need to know with Maya. Q, that makes it so you have this just the bare bones select tool, so you don't have the other tools, gizmos getting in your way. For example, when you press W, you get the translate tool, right? Now, if you're trying to do a bunch of face selections with the translate tool selected, suddenly you've got all these little things that are kind of causing you errors. So you want to press Q to get rid of it and make your selection. So W is translate, E is rotate, and R is scale. Now, those don't all match up with something that makes sense in terms of like letters to their associated ideas. But on the other hand, if you notice Q, W, E, R are like all next to each other. So good. So I prefer having grouped controls like that to necessarily like perfectly understandable situations. Oh no! This bug is this gun is being supplied. You're a gun smuggler now. Did you know that? Taco's a gun smuggler. All right. Smooth it. Now we'll go to 5 view. Okay. So this needs to be driven up a little bit. Like that. R for rotate and S for scale. Thing is, like, if they had S for scale, I would like lose my shit because I love, like I said, I love having like being able to just finger memory that if I know where Q is, I know where W is, and if I know where W is, which is, you know, my gamer instinct, I know where W is, I can just, for me, having them contextual to each other is how I learned it. Clearly I'm going to prefer it, but yeah. Otherwise, gamer instinct. Yeah. Exactly. So it really depends on what you're designing for. You know, if you're designing for ease of entry to the market, maybe it makes more sense to map it to sorry, brain's in overdrive here. It might make more sense to have them mapped to, that's fine, that's good enough. Working too hard at this gun. Make more sense to do it the way that the Blender does it because people can just look at the keyboard. But this is the way I learned, and I already went through hell to learn it, and I like it. Definitely some Stockholm Syndrome going on there, but that's fine. Maybe I'm going to give you nightmares, but have you seen the cockroach inside the brain of the dude? No, I have not. Have you seen those videos where bugs get pulled out of their ear holes? That's upsetting. It's very upsetting. I'm so glad you guys are treating me to this extravagance. Just the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Whoop. Merp. Merp. Don't bully me. Am I bullying you? If I am, I don't mean to be. I am sassing you. I'll totally admit that I'm sassing you. Mmm, tasty, tasty. Okay. Don't necessarily recommend modeling this way, but it is fast. At the very least. How did I start modeling? Well, it's a bit of a strange story. Not terribly strange, mind you, but just a little strange. I was originally a traditional artist in school, and from there, how do I want to do this? I decided that I'm not good enough, and I didn't have 12 years of training like many of my peers, and I like computers, so I started doing digital art there. And I think that's how most people kind of start. Not everybody, clearly, but eventually I realized that I wasn't quite as bad as I thought I was at traditional art, but it was already too late. I was hooked on the digital art. So I just kept at it. And I decided 3D was too hard. And I would never be good at it. So I went for graphic design. And decided I hated graphic design, so I went to computer science, and I couldn't do the math. So I was great with the programming, but the math was killer. So I went back to digital art and decided that I was going to do 3D, give it a shot. I found out I actually freaking love 3D modeling, and I'm actually decent at it. And so I just dove into that head first and got my degree in it. Hi, how's it going? It's been a while. I'm inconsistent as hell. Sorry. I do plan, I'm trying to have a strict schedule for at least the next couple weeks of trying to stream every day. The times will probably be inconsistent, but it should be in the daytime with a possible second one, you know. Hey, Derp Vader! Nice. Okay, that makes more sense now. I was like, oh god, I can't remember Huge Brain. No, or Huge Bran, anyway. No, I remember you, Derp Vader. Did more than I thought. I didn't even get into the things I did before I started in traditional art. Before that, I had a stint as a motorcycle technician, which was my very first thing in college. see. What else? Yeah, of course I remember you, dude. How could I not? What else did I do? I think this is as good as I'm gonna get it because I have already done far too much on this. This is silliness. This is silliness is what I'm doing. Okay. Bug gun. That's fine. Nope, nope, nope. Can't do it. I got one. I just realized what the big problem I was having was is these guys should be like way in. And then these guys should be down like that. And these guys should be a bit more like that. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this, guys? Shouldn't be doing this. And then we'll duplicate this doodad. And we'll just use this like that. And everything will be fantastic. Hunky-dory. So good. My masterpiece. My magnus opus. Okay. All right. Modify center pivot. Beautiful. Now, obviously, it's too big for a bug, so we're going to have to make it smaller. And we'll just put one in each hand. That'll be great. Just looked over at chat. Things may have gone a little off the rails, but that's fine. That's perfectly fine, guys. Oh dear, this gun exploded. Why did this gun explode? Huh. We'll just try that again. Can't have a bug with an exploded gun. That's not good at all. There we go. Heck yeah. Ah. Doing good now. Okay, let me catch up with chat. Wow, okay. Did more than I thought. Dirt Vader, yes, definitely. First time started, I joined a bunch of projects together and called it a model. That's effectively what we're doing right now. Joining objects together and calling it a model. I'm an old viewer. Hope it doesn't kill me with that. Big mistake modeling that. Now we're on Daedra. You're right. And when you're right, you're right. New username doesn't count. Baby. It's absolutely a bug with the gun, Izzy. You know, it's got 4 guns, and because of its pose, I feel like it's like a Matrix situation where they're just like firing randomly out in the room at everything. Perfect size for Pangea. An armed Firefly. I mean, you can't go anywhere in this world without some self-defense. And this Firefly knows it. So, he is prepared. Alright. We're going to save, and we're going to make some wings. If I see a bug with a gun, I'll give him anything he desires. That's absolutely the truth. Okay. back to business for a quick second here. We're going to just start with a plane because sometimes it's easier to do that. And I'm going to have it connect straight across this thorax or abdomen or whatever we call this thing. And it's going to need to flip down at some point, but for now, I just want to line it up visually. And then we'll raise it way up here. And we just have to remember that it's going to need to be a little longer in this, in the, what is that, in the Z direction than it is, than you might imagine. Just because it's going to have to travel up and over the, whatever, bulb. But aside from that, I want to get a size kind of situation going on here. Have a general idea of the attachment points, how wide that needs to be, and just get a top view. And that'll do us right there. Probably about like that. Maybe a little wider. Get this edge. Like that. Get this edge. We know it's going to want to go to about the halfway mark here. And we're going to want it to fly out like that. Yeah, just about like that. And then we'll rotate. No, we should just do it like this, actually. Make it a little longer, kind of there. Rotate this bad boy like so. Yeah, I think that'll do it. At least for the beginning steps, I mean. Okay, got our basic shape. Oh, let's see here. Oh, Vietnam type helmet. God. Why do spiders always chill in the bathroom? It's because that's where you're most vulnerable. I'm pretty sure that's why. Mosquitoes and perverts. Mosquitoes are the perverts of the insect world. Oh my god. Well, you're not wrong about that. Spiders are the heroes of the insect world from the human eyes. So we're just gonna pull this up, and I think I'd like to match the rotations like so. Now, one thing that's nice in Maya that I don't make enough use of is this outer ring that allows you to rotate in screen space. So you noticed I did the rotations, I lined up, so it's about halfway crossing right there, kind of getting as close as I can. And then instead of trying to manipulate both these strict axes, you know, the X and the Z, I can use screen space rotation to match it visually. And it's not perfect, but it's good enough for me, I think. Oh, that's nice of you. I still often kill them, and I don't feel proud of that. But it's more like a innate response. Not that that's a good excuse or anything, but I just can't deal. I just can't do it. How do I want to do this? Component space maybe. I think, yeah, so that's on that plane, which is nice. We're gonna get that to bulge out a little bit. And now we've got sort of straight quad going there, which is nice. I know. Bugs life definitely matter. That is definitely the way of the Jedi. If I am in the Spider Wars, I am unfortunately a Sith. It's just a bad time. That's a fair point, Blue. Actually, getting rid of them is kind of difficult. Okay, so let's get this to match up with the body proper. And there's going to be some thickness to this. So I'm going to get it not much closer than that. We just need to do that with this one as well. One nice thing about Maya that I don't know if Blender has or not is once you select an axis, you can press and hold the middle mouse button and it will constrain to that axis pretty much no matter what. And I find that incredibly useful in many, many instances. Okay. Dark side unite. I do kill the ultra fast ones. Absolutely. You don't let those things get away from you. There's no time to go walk and get a cardboard. Inside the butt. What? Alright, let's see here. So the next step, I believe, is to use multi-cut to get ourselves a little gooble gobble here. Pull it right out so we can get the beginnings of the curvature all established. Hey, look at that. It's pretty good, actually. And then we'll get this guy up about the same amount because I want the whole thing to have a little bit of a curve to it. And I definitely want this to be a little higher, actually, since it's going to be in flight, probably. I don't know. I'm of two minds about this one. I think I'm going to have this whole section back here lower for now. And then we'll go to world space, drop that down, pull that back. And we'll add in some more supporting geometry here and here. And we'll just pull these two fellas out. A bit like so. And a bit like so. Now this one does need to come out like that to make it visually work. And I think pulling it over here is probably the better solution to that. So let's get both of these guys back a little bit. And we'll do the same for these two. Okay, this needs to go into component space. And that needs to be up higher as well. That's starting to feel better. We'll flatten that one down a little bit though. And this is going to need to be out. Kind of like that. Okay, so this is the beginning of our thing there, but one tricky thing is I need to pull that back in because when they come down together, they should be fairly straight. So that's a little frustrating, which means I think this needs to curve in this way. I should have thought of that sooner. Bit of a waste of effort there. I think it's done by pressing G twice inside of Blender in edit mode. I have to think back to what I was saying. Oh, locking it to the... Okay, gotcha. Okay, so at least there is something. That's good. As far as I know, much of the quality of life things in Maya are present in Blender, but like it's sort of bizarro land going from one to the other because they're just so keyboard shortcut dependent. Sorry, both of them are, and sort of competing for space inside my mental capacity brain. Mental capacity brain. I think it's almost time for a break, guys. I think it's almost time for a break. Oh, let's see. All right, spider conversation is going strong. All right, I'm going to duplicate this and call it the backup wing mesh. And then we'll do wing cover mesh. Actually, Stick to convention. All right. I'll hide this, and on the main one, extrude it. Give it some thickness. Add a division. Grab that division, and how do I want to do this? There's really no good way to do this. Yeah, there's really no good way to do this. Okay, well, just gonna go for it and hope. Actually turned out kind of okay. We'll add another bit of supporting geometry up here. There we go, there it is. Okay. We've got a bit of a bug wing going on. It's a little cattywampus, but that's fine. That's fine. Oof. That sounds like a bad time, having mice run around but not being able to see them. Not my cup of tea. Okay. So one thing I want to do is raise all these guys up, and we just want to do it in world space. And I want this to be twisted outward, essentially. So we'll make sure we grab all these guys. And then we'll do the same for this. Right up there. And then I do also want them to be a little closer to being like that, but the back side does have to navigate this bump in some way, so that'll be something to work on later. We'll keep the geometry simple like this for a while. I think we can get away with doing this and have it look a little better. Yeah, that's a little better. Oof, it's a bad time. Okay, so we're going to modify freeze transformations. Good. There. Okay, now I think when I come back from break, I'm going to try to address this head a little bit. But aside from that, which will probably break this stuff down here, well, that's fine. I think we're making some headway here. Okay, so I am clearly overdue for a break here. Whew, almost went 2 straight hours there. All right. So I'll be back in a little while here. I'm going to put on my demo reel so you guys can kind of see what's going on with my other work. And I'll be back in, say, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. See you soon. Transfer back over. I'll turn it into a bit of a dinner break for me. Back into it. So, take a look at this reference again. I think what I'm gonna do is duplicate these guys, put them lower the angle a little bit, and instead of doing something simple like this, I'm going to isolate them and do something interesting. Yoshi! Yoshi! I don't know what that was, by the way. Apologies. So we're just going to hold down tab and give a nice selectaroo here. Grow the selection. I think one more. That'll do it. And then we'll delete those spaces. So what this leaves us with is the shell from before. And yeah, I think that's going to be good for us. I have a technique in mind that I'm going to work with here. So these are just going to be the wings themselves. So this will be probably the first proper Maya specific thing that I've done. Everything else is kind of whatever. But we're going to use something that's a little bit unstable and specific to Maya, which is called the mesh network. And I don't think it's really ready for being a parametric sort of thing, but it is ready for generating a mesh. And that's what we're going to do. So the wings that I'm looking at are kind of abstract and filled with semi-transparent crystals. So the first step in this process is to make those crystals. So we're going to start with I think a cube. Let's go with a cube. And we'll get that down to about the right size and shape and flatten it out pretty good here. And let's smooth it. So we get our first level of smoothing going on. And let's just get... I think we're going to go pretty simple with this, actually. So let's start with this and see what it looks like. Yeah. Put this back to the origin. Okay. So this is going to be called the wing stone. Sure. Actually, I probably should call this the master mesh. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is make a mesh network and use these wing planes that we've created to kind of algorithmically apply these stones all over the place. And then we'll give the stone a semi-transparent texture when we go and do all that. So, I guess enough dancing around it. Let's get this thing all set up. One thing I will do though, wing stone master group. This will let me do some adjustments later on. It's just a little bit more convenient. So down here is the mesh editor, but for future reference, if you go and you press space, the mesh network is here, and then the mesh editor is this guy. So that's why it's not coming up. If you prefer doing it a different way, I think it's under animation. The mesh network is there, right up here. But I'll be using this and the spacebar for my stuff. Zelda! Okay, here we go. So, a little nervous about this, but we're going to do our best here. So first things first, we've got a mesh repro because I'm making a mesh network. You can also make an instance, which we might try, but this one I think is easier to put materials onto. So we're going to go with that. Under distribute, we're going to go to a mesh. And yeah, Yeah, scatter sounds good, actually. So we'll go with the left one first. So after we save this, we'll call it something else, but we need to do that. Where's my distribute group? Here it is. Input mesh. So now we're going to just middle mouse drag wing mesh 3. Okay, I guess we'll try that again with wing mesh 2. And let's see, scatter, calculate rotation, ignore ramps. I wonder why it won't let me flood the mesh. That's strange. Huh. They've made some updates to this. How about random vertex? Ah, there we go. Oh, that's why. Oh, pff. Okay. So we'll just do random vertex, and then we'll up it to like 1,000 or something. We're going to have to do a bit more work here. Because there's only a couple vertices, we're going to have to add some more stuff. Namely a random node, which is this guy. Okay, you guys need to calm down. Chill out. Alright. A tiny bit up and down. Definitely get bigger and smaller scales. I want less rotations. I think I'm going to take calculate rotations off. What are we doing? A little bit that way, a little bit that way. Maybe a little bit of that. A little bit of that. Okay. Maybe face center. This is not going quite as well as I hoped it would. Well, that's better. Okay. I guess we're gonna go with a scatter. Not sure why it's behaving so differently. Alright, something a little more than that. Okay. So now we can do some other stuff. So position Y, I think we'll leave it down. Yeah, let's do it. Let's scooch it up a little bit. And then I do want more rotation, so we'll do up to 180. Just a smidge more there. Okay. That's looking reasonable. So now when we hide this guy, we just have that. Cool. So this is the wing O2 mash. And I'm going to try to duplicate this, and we're going to see if that works. I'm going to save. Because this stuff always seems to break somehow. And we'll go back to our distribute node. Why is it mesh 4 shape? That's a bad sign. Okay. Well, that's fine. we're just going to take these two, duplicate them, turn off these networks, and yeah, we have successfully made some crystal style wings. Good enough for me. Okay. So go to favorite material, AI standard surface, and let's go for something clear, probably glass, just to start with here. Subsurface is off, transmission is full, we only want partial. Some of the color is going to be purpley kind of situation, like that. Not full specular, but pretty close. IOR is fine, roughness a little higher, that crystals after all. The specularity is going to be in the bluer spectrum of things. Okay. Arnold lights. We already have a sky dome. What am I doing? I even have Arnold open already. Oh. Cancel that, please. Oh, good. Okay. Anywho, so this is the beginnings of what we're doing here. So I think at this point we're going to do a bit of texturing and we're trying to get some emission onto this little butt bulb. And we'll go from there. I want them to be a little less transparent. A little more transparent? Yeah. Coat? No. Emission, that'll be soon. I don't even know what sheen is. My goodness. Thin film, geometry. Oh, that's part of it. That's right. Okay. One little thing you gotta do with Arnold, kind of a specific thing, is to make sure it's not opaque. Then to update your render view and get a new one and all that good stuff. And probably some render settings need to be changed to allow for this. No, we actually have enough transmission. Okay, alright. One thing I'll need to do later is to do some fall off work to get these to not poke through the shells. But for now, I'm going to just move them forward. And that'll work just fine. It really is a lot of work to do anything. I'm not sure why they're quite so solid. They're definitely supposed to be more transparent. Oh, I see. So because there's so many layered on top of each other, that's what the real problem is. We'll go all the way down to AI standard, which means we probably should get that more like that. And more rough. Okay. So transmission is supposed to be fully on. Tell you what, let's just get a little subsection here. How about 2? That might work better. And then we'll turn this down to 2 as well. I'm just trying to get an idea of what's actually happening here. One. 0. Huh. Well, that's weird. Okay, why is depth a thing? 0.5. 0.25. That's much better. That's much better. Good. Okay, I'm going to move on because I don't want to take up too much time with that. Okay, clearly that is too much emission. And that ought to be lower. It should probably be... bluish. Okay. That ought to be darker. Scatter. Scatter needs to get choppy. Something closer to that. Come on. If we really want to kill our system, we can turn on some subsurface and get a pinker color. And the weight can be turned up, radius can be turned down, diffusion, random, yeah, let's go with that. Okay, we'll let that run for a hot second. Give us a little break. Essentially, yeah, subsurface equals Maya not responding. In fact, I might have actually turned off subsurface. No, it is rendering. Okay. It'll be done soon. Ish. One thing we can do is turn off updates and just sort of move on with our life. And do some more material work, like on this guy. So this is going to have a separate shader than the rest of it. So I need to work on this thing a little funny. Yeah, okay. So this is all going to have one shader, which is going to be an AI standard. And then the rest of this will also have a separate shader. It's not ideal. There's going to be a really rough transition point here, but make it work. It'll be fine. Butt bulb. AI standard. Okay, delete the history on this thing. Got it. Jeebus. Alright. Why are there three? What? That's weird. Why are there two things addressing that? That's not okay. Yeah, no kidding. I don't know a single one that actually addresses subsurface particularly well. Okay, so this is the one that's actually affecting it. Cool. Rename that to bug body AI standard. Good. So we want kind of like an oil stain on this one, which is going to be very similar to what we do on the other one. There's some iridescent thing. I think car paint metallic is the best starting point. Unfortunately, there's no getting around using subsurface right now. So, here we go. I think maybe I need the car paint normal, mask or whatever. Okay, so subsurface is going to be about half. We'll give this one a pink. Yes, let's do a pink. Very hot pink. Sure. And then for the base color, we'll do that bluish purple. Right about there. Right about there. And then the highlights will be a light blue. Maya! Maya! Oh, God. Can I save? Okay. Maya? Maya? We doing alright there? Having a bad time? Well, here's the render. Just take a snapshot of that. That's pretty good. I think that's about where I'm gonna leave it. There's some like oh god, what do they call it? Fresnel effects in the source image, but I'm just gonna leave that alone for now because that's a whole nother can of worms I'm not ready to tackle. Why? What's going on here? What are you doing? Oh, I see. Alright, just being all weird. A little darker blue. That's good. Oh, you guys ready to break the system? There we go. Because I'm almost ready to. Need a very healthy yellow. Need to be a little more golden. Specular is going to be a similar kind of lighter yellow, so we'll take this, bring it down a little bit. I'm going to take the base off. And turn the transmission up. We'll see what that looks like. Transmission should also have the similar yellow, light yellow. Let's see, IOR. Let's go for a glass. Not that ever affects it super strongly. I want the specular to be a bit rougher. Okay. All right. Alright, so we definitely have work to do on all of it. Good to know. No, Mozilla, no one wants you. Bug body. Oh, criminy. I thought I had a bug butt. No? Huh. Okay. Let's try it again. Bug butt AI standard. Alright, so the emission... Oh, there's no emission at all. That's why. Now, to see this, we're going to need to get a plane and just scale the everlasting criminy out of it and pull it down a little bit. The thing we want to do is grab our sky dome and we'll just lower the intensity. Not bad. A little further than I probably should have gone, though. Cool. Go back to here. Shrink this down a smidge. Oh, or make it taller. That's fine, too. So majestic and beautiful. Alright. Okay, let's take a look at the transmission. That's fine. I'm not super sure how to get the effect I'm going for. So I need to still see the ridges, right? Well, if it's glowing, I don't need to see the ridges. Okay, let's go with that for now. And then the body needs some work, to put it mildly. How are we getting that finish? Is this too dark? Is it too saturated? I feel like it's too saturated. Now we can lower that weight down. Lower the specular, raise the specular. Okay. For some reason the specular isn't that nice blue that I thought it would be. Transmission's not a thing, but the subsurface is... Aha. And then that should probably be closer to a blue. In fact, it probably should be a blue. But a lighter blue. Which means this one ought to be more reddish. Not quite getting that oil coating I thought it would be, so maybe it's not a subsurface. Maybe it's a coat, which is also at full strength. Wow. Let's go for that blue. Roughness. IOR. Go for glass, which it already was. Okay. All right, enjoy your food, and thanks for joining me so much. Hope to see you again next time. Enjoy the food again. And we'll go with that. Let's see. I'm going to grab all of this. And all of this. And this, and give them all that same bug body. And this, and this. Ah. Let's see here. So the master group is this guy. Should probably put that to him and turn these guys back on. Hide these two. Take our distribute and lower it down. Same thing over here, that's about 184. Okay, we got that one. And mash one. Okay. Maybe it's the Arnold issue. Good old Arnold. Turn that off, bring it back. So that's Wing Stone Master Group. And then we've got this guy, AI Standard 2. Yeah, you'd think. You'd think it'd be working out. Alas, this is just going to have to wait until next time. But I think we should try to get a decent image out of this. So let's put this away for a second. And let's do some lighting. We'll turn the intensity down again to, I guess, there. I'm going to go with a spotlight. There we go. Go to Arnold, color temperature, warm it up. Not quite that warm. That's good. Exposure way up, samples up. Yeah, we'll just go with that. Okay. Okay, exposure up more. Exposure up more. There we go. Dim it down from there. Shadow density. Oh. That's interesting. Aspect ratio. Yeah, I'll go with a lower shadow. Not quite that low. Well, started too weird there. What am I doing? Shadows. Just want the drop off. Just give me the soft drop off. Okay, then we'll go to the bug butt and increase the emission all the way up. This may be one of the stranger things I've made on stream. Get some roughness on that coat. And a little more roughness on there. Okay, I think that might be it. So let's get our render settings all up to snuff here. Let this work for a while. Oh, that's gonna take some time. Alright. Oh, so that might be it for tonight's stream. And I am thinking it will be. Although I should change those guns to something else. Oh, no wonder it's so crummy. Okay, I have a chance to make things better. 1 second. Let me grab the guns. We'll give them a nice, something. Anything else besides that. Preset. Plastic. And instead of blue, we'll go like a kind of a gray, bluey, gray kind of situation. We'll glint it with blue. Sheen. It's so weird. Why is there a sheen setting now? Anyway, go to common. Can't believe I forgot to turn this up earlier. And then instead of EXR, we'll do a JPEG. Good. And then everything else should be all good to go-ish. Get more specular. Okay. And get there. So now we wait. Hope y'all had a good time tonight. Oh, I guess that was never playing. Oh well. Any final questions before I head off? Any final thoughts? There's a very good chance I'm not going to let this thing fully render before I go, but yeah. Hopefully we'll at least get to see some of it fully render. It's not looking very good. I think right now we're right about here-ish. There's still a lot to do after that, so yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for joining me, everyone, for this stream. And I really hope that you all had a great time, maybe learned something, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.